I was pretty disappointed to see the U.S. swimming results.
So if you were to get back into an Olympic race, what race would be the race that you would be able to get back in and be the best at?
I think I could win the 200 IM. I think some of those times aren't. I was going faster 8 years ago than most of the world's going now. So I still think if I focused on one event, I think I could get the job done.
Hopefully the other athletes are more prepared going to 28. Everyone thought what I was trying to do was impossible.
Was the United States performance in Paris an absolute catastrophe? How many medals did the United States win in swimming, and how many have they won across gold, silver, and bronze in all of the prior Olympics from when the Michael Phelps became the greatest of all time? And let's talk about doping, because there is a lot to uncover in this video. I mean, after all, we did have Katie Ledecky take home some hardware, and she is the greatest female athlete, Olympian of all time. We also had Bobby Fink for the United States, and on the final night, he won individual gold and broke the world record. So what I want to do is go through the results, show some data, but first, let's watch Michael Phelps's full commentary where he says he was disappointed. I'll react to it, then let's look at the data.
For me, one of the things that I've always said over the last couple of years is the rest of the world is catching up, right? You know, I think a lot of the things that we've done as a country for so long, the other people are catching up. They're doing the same thing, right? So hopefully we're able to make that transition leading into 2028. For me, as a whole, I was pretty disappointed to see the U.S. swimming results. Obviously, there were a few standout swims, and those you have to recognize. You know, Bobby Fink last night swimming that was unbelievable. I have chills right now talking about it. That was one of the greatest swims in the Olympics, in my opinion. Being able to break that world record in the manner that he did it, just taking it out, challenging the other guys just to make a move. He was prepared. Hopefully the other athletes are more prepared going to 28. Everyone thought what I was trying to do was impossible. And if somebody's trying to do it now, you guys will all say it's impossible, right? For me, if somebody wants to do it and they want it bad enough and they're willing to take the little baby steps that it takes to get there, then I want to see it. You know, records are made to be broken. You know, the records that I was chasing throughout my career motivated me. So hopefully I can motivate somebody to do the same thing.
I love it. This is Michael Phelps, the greatest of all time. Let's look at the results. How many medals did we win? Now let's break it down, because Michael Phelps is obviously disappointed. So let's look at Paris. This is the Paris medal count by country in order of gold medal. And you can see right here, the United States racked up 28 medals. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit, actually, so you can see it. You can see gold, silver, and bronze. Now, the United States is the top of the leaderboard, both in gold medals and in total medal count. A lot of silver medals, so we might think Michael Phelps is referring to the silver medals, but there's actually more that he is referring to, not just the fact that, you know, maybe we missed out on a bunch of gold medals, but that our total count could actually be much, much higher. That's really what he's alluding to, and we're going to look at some historical data, and you're going to see why he feels it was disappointment and some other commentary that was there. Now, we have the Australian team right here. A lot of smack talk between the United States and Australia, putting together a massive 7 gold medals, 19 total. Very impressive for a country of only 26 people. Not 26 people, 26 million people. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, if Michael Phelps' comments are acceptable given the fact that the U.S. team won 28 medals. We're going to look at future or prior Olympics and see how they did. Now, France is up there. They have an asterisk because they are the host nation here. And these 4 medals were done by one person. That is Leon Marchand. He won the 400 IM, 200 breast, 200 fly, and 200 IM. So of these 7, he contributed 4 of them. You also got to look at China. China had a monster 12 medals, and they had a lot of bronze. They had the same number of bronze as the United States. But the really important number here to remember is 28, because that is how many the United States won. So let's remember 28 total medals and 8 gold medals. This was done at the Paris Olympics. Now let's look at the last Olympics before that. This was in Tokyo. Tokyo, Japan, the host country. This is Tokyo. This was, if you remember, Tokyo was held in 2021 instead of 2020. We look at the top of the leaderboard. The United States has 30 medals, 11 of them gold. So as you can see right there, automatically 3 gold medals less than the prior Olympics. 2 total less, 3 less when you consider the golds. Australia also had less medals. They went from 9 down to 7. If you notice, France is not even on the radar here. France was not part of that equation. You scroll down, you don't even see them. But that's the important number to look at. This was in the last Olympics We're looking at 30. Well, let's look at the Olympics before that. We have Tokyo. Now let's look at the next Olympics. This was in Brazil. And look at that. 33 medals, 16 of them gold. That is absolute dominance. And you know who competed in 2016? The great Michael Phelps. This was Michael Phelps's last Olympic Games, and you could basically say the United States has gone downhill from there. He really left the sport of swimming. I mean, 33 medals, 16 of them gold. Are you kidding? This is more than entire countries do in all of their, most countries do in all of their sports put together. Let's keep going, though. Let's go back one more Olympics. Now we're talking 2012. This was in London. 31, 16 gold. That is incredible. Now, we're going to talk about some athletes besides Michael Phelps who contributed to that. But at the end of the day, I mean, 31 medals. Remember, United States in Paris was 28, and only 8 of them were gold. Here we go, 2 Olympics before Tokyo, 2012, 2016. Michael Phelps was on both of those teams, contributed to the medal count. 16 gold medals. Let's go back one more Olympics, because this is 2008. This was the big Olympics that Michael Phelps won all of them gold. 12 gold medals, 31 total. The crazy thing about this, of all of those, Michael Phelps contributed to 8 of those. So one single person can have a significant impact. We saw that with France, with Leon Marchand. He won 4 gold medals, 5 total. And of the 7 French count, he was a part of 5 of them. So he basically is the French Olympic medal count. And when we think about it from like, who is this guy that contributed, right? We're talking about Michael Phelps. If you don't know who Michael Phelps is, I'd like you to unsubscribe from my channel right now. But if you do know who Michael Phelps is, you're in the right spot, right? Because this guy right here is the greatest Olympian of all time. Look at his medals from the Olympic Games. I can't even fit them on one screen. You go to Wikipedia and you just want to look. It's gold. It's gold, 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 gold. It is just ridiculous. 23 of them are gold across 4 Olympics. He won the 200 IM 4 Olympics in a row. So I think the guy is kind of qualified to say that, you know, swimming has kind of gone downhill from him leaving. I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. But it's not just Michael Phelps. There's more to the story here. Yes, Michael Phelps contributed a monster 28 medals in his career, 23 of them gold across those 4 Olympics. But you know who else contributed a lot of medals? This guy right here. This is Ryan Lochte. And he was competing and pushing Michael Phelps. And he sometimes goes under the radar because he is overshadowed by Michael Phelps. But when you look at his Olympic hardware, I mean, look at this. These are all gold medals. These are all silver medals, bronze medal. These are from the Olympic Games. And he was competing at the same time. So between Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte, these 2 athletes contributed massively to the Olympic hardware. And so when we look at Michael Phelps saying, you know, he was a little disappointed, there were some big misses. Let's talk about those misses, specifically on the men's side. You know, I brought up Bobby Fink, right? And Bobby Fink has been incredible for the United States. He's the only male to win an individual gold medal at the entire Olympics, right? We had Caleb Dressel make the Olympic team, and Caleb Dressel's an awesome guy. But when it comes to stepping up, I mean, he missed. He missed at this Olympics. And, you know, he was very emotional after that. And, you know, unless you've been there, you don't know the pressure that these athletes are going under. But he came into these Olympic Games. Caleb Dressel, not Bobby Fink, who's on the screen right now. And Caleb Dressel had won 5 gold medals at the last Olympics. 3 of them were individual gold, and he didn't win any individual medals, right? That was 3 right there potentially. You have Ryan Murphy, who's medaled at all the last Olympics in the backstrokes, and he missed, I believe, in the 200 backstroke. There were a few men's 100 free. The United States didn't have anyone get on the podium in there, yet they won. The United States won the 4x1 free relay. So what is going on? You know, we had a few misses. We heard Michael Phelps talk about what was going on because, yes, you know, Katie Ledecky is incredible, and yes, Bobby Fink's world record was insane. But there are some gaps specifically on the men's side. And as Michael Phelps said, the rest of the world is catching up. You know, I know athletes training in the United States and this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, since Michael Phelps, Rio, 33 medals, 16 of them gold, we've sort of been on a trajectory, the United States, going downhill. The rest of the world is getting more depth. And I think that's exciting for the sport of swimming because it's not just one country that dominates. It's great to see the U.S.-Australia rivalry. But isn't it better when you have multiple countries, multiple athletes making the sport so much more competitive? And that means if we were to see another Michael Phelps, 8 gold medals, it's going to be that much harder to see it just because of the fact it is so competitive across the world. Now, I want to show you guys from an individual perspective just how significant one individual can be. This is taking a look at the most decorated swimmers, and you have Leon Marchand with 4 individual gold. He won 5 medals. Tori Husk also won 5. Only 3 of them were gold. Also important to note that Leon Marchand, all 4 of his gold medals are individual swims. He won the event on his own, which is pretty crazy. We have some Americans. If you notice, these are all on the women's side, right? If you notice, McIntosh even, these are all women. The United States and men in general at these Olympics, look at this. These are all women. None of them are men. Leon Marchand is the only man at the top of this. Now, if you look at it a slightly different way, these are sorted by total medals. And again, we have a Chinese swimmer here, 6 medals. What an incredible Olympics. Marchand won 5. Only male on here. Like literally, all of these are women. So that's a whole nother thing that the men have not been able to step up and medal in multiple events. But we've seen some superstars. So if you were to say, did the men, was it a more impressive competition on the men's side or the women's side? By depth, you have to say the women's side. Because outside of Leon Marchand and outside of Pan's incredible, 100 freestyle world record and Bobby Fink's world record, right? Those are just a few swims. But the women's swims had so much more depth at these Paris Olympics. And you don't want to blame the men per se, because it's across the field. All the countries, the men's side has either gotten, more competitive relatively, or just there's not as many superstars on the men's side besides this guy right here. And so this really begs the question, what are we going to see into the next Olympics? Oh, and there's one more thing I have for you guys, because we talk about doping, right? And guess who won most doping tests? It was China. They had more testing done since January 24. This is according to World Aquatics. So I know some people talk about different federations and different countries have their own standards. This is on an international level, right? So we're not singling out any country, but you can see just how many tests. The average is, it looks like, between 4 and 6. You can see how many times athletes are being tested. Chinese swimmers have been tested more than everyone. So if there was a gold medal for how many times an athlete is tested in swimming in the 6 months leading up to the Olympics, China would win the gold medal for being drug tested more than any other country. These are the stats by World Aquatics. You can see right here. You can go ahead and look at all this stuff online, and you can just see how many tests are happening both in competition and out of competition. And I think that's really important because we want to have a clean sport. I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are we seeing the demise of American swimming as we know it? Or is that a little bit more extreme and it's just getting more competitive holistically? Let me know in the comments, and happy swimming.